Hi, bonjour, bonsoir, everyone, wherever you are. Welcome. I see there are quite a few of you here already, a few in the chat. So we have Cynthia and Linda and Marilyn and Steve. Hi, bonjour, welcome to all of you. Today we are going to speak about French quirks. If you do not have the worksheet yet, you can download it from my Telegram channel, which is you have the link in the description below. If you are watching the replay, please do leave a comment so I know that you came. And my connection isn't super good today, so I hope it will hold. If you have a hard time understanding what I say or it's cutting off or something, please let me know in the chat. So, well, I don't know that I can do much about it, but I'll do my best. Yes, I need to tell you that this is the last Sunday office hours live YouTube that we will have before the birthday slash anniversary party for the French Fluency Accelerator. So next Sunday we will not be on YouTube, we will be on Zoom, and you will want to either open my emails or get your be on the Telegram channel, so that you get the Zoom link and the invitation, and also the not worksheet but workbook that you will have for that event. So next Sunday, basically the event, this weekly event is being upgraded into a full class with slides and with actual engagement. So I will be able to see you guys and hear you speak when you ask the questions. So I'm super excited to do that together. Some news from the scholarship program. If you have checked your worksheet, you can see that here you can either join the French Fluency Accelerator or you can apply for a scholarship. So I am currently interviewing the applicants for the scholarship program. It's going absolutely well. I have several people that look really amazing, that are from all over the world. I have several people from different African countries, a couple of people from European countries. There will be some apparently from North America, although I haven't interviewed them yet. I have 3 or 4 interviews tomorrow, and then I'm probably going to have a few next weekend. So it's going well. I really look forward to coaching all of you. Well, all of you, not perhaps not all of you, but all of you who will be in the French Accelerator in the group coaching sessions, because it's one of the things. I will tell you more about it next week in the actual birthday party. But starting on the 5th of September, which is a Sunday, for everyone who's in the French Fluency Accelerator, so both the current students and also those who will join if you decide to join, and also the scholarship students, on Sunday at 5 p.m. my time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern. I will be doing a group coaching sessions with all of the French Fluency Accelerator students. So that will be like one of the main new things that there will be this year, because every year we have a big upgrade. As long throughout the year, I actually listen to what the students say, and I make the kind of classes that they want to see, because we have a voting system. But every year I reflect on the whole program, and then there's a massive upgrade. And this year, we are definitely introducing a weekly group coaching session where you can actually speak French to me. So, yep, as Linda is saying, so exciting. I'm super excited to do that. I really look forward to it. So I think that's all for housekeeping. For the record, I still have 2 spots for um, one-on-one coaching, which I was very happy to keep those 2 spots open, because I have a lot of work to prepare for the scholarship and the upgrade of the French Accelerator. But in September, I'll be able to accept new coaching clients. I did speak to one person 2 days ago who said she would join. So maybe I only have 1 spot left. But yeah, that's something that can be done in September, in case you are in need of one-on-one coaching. If you need to learn French and become fluent fast, that's also another option that I have. Whenever I have spots for one-on-one coaching, they are offered in priority to the people who are in the French Fluency Accelerator. So it's not a one or the other. You can be in the French Accelerator, and then you can have one-on-one coaching later on when there is a spot available. And everybody who is my one-on-one coaching client also has access to the full program in the French Accelerator. So it's basically like a top tier, like an upgrade, if you want, on the group program. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, you can always ask me. In fact, you can always ask me anything, especially as long as I'm sitting live here. But today we have a really cool topic as well. So the idea is that we will have a number of quote unquote games that we can play with this worksheet, and you can ask me anything relating to these topics as I am going through the content of the worksheet, and then we will have the idiom of the day, and then we will have approximately 10 minutes of the French summary. And you can also ask me after the French summary, you can ask me anything you want at all related to French, or like any question that you think I could potentially answer. You can ask them to me at towards the end of this, unless you have a really burning question which you want to ask right now, which you can always ask it before I jump in. But yes, so any questions, please type them in, and then we'll get started. So we have 5 points today, and the first one is something that you have heard of before. I am sure I have spoken about it at length. It's about grammatical genders. I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, maybe, that I made a full Sunday session on grammatical genders and how they work and how to learn them and how to not be completely overwhelmed by them. So if you haven't watched that one, I recommend you watch it after this one because it's really useful to make sense of it. Today we are going to look at like the worst things that exist with French grammatical genders. These are not things that are frequent. It's just really the whole idea today is just to have fun with it and just understand how crazy the French language can get just for the fun of it, not as a way to beat yourself up and be like, oh my god, I'll never know everything about the French language. No, I mean, sorry to break it to you, but no, you won't know everything about the French language because I don't know everything about the French language. And it's my job, literally. It's my job to know as much as I can about the French language. But I acknowledge that I cannot possibly know everything there is to know about, a language that is spoken by approximately 200 million people, each of them having their own, language quirks or, subculture, subset of the population. It's impossible to know everything. But you can know enough to be fluent, and I swear you can learn it even in 1 year, which is the whole project of the French Accelerator, particularly with the scholarships, will be to help the scholarship students to become fluent, or at least to acquire the skills that they need, which often is close to fluency in 1 year. And I absolutely believe that if you commit to it, you can do it 100%. And since I'm going to add some weekly group coaching, that will also be a way to help you more precisely in the program than I'm doing here. Hi, Ivo. Nice to have you here. I'm glad to see you. So, number one was the thing that's quirky about French. It's not that quirky because when you think about it, many languages have grammatical genders, only English doesn't. So every French noun, right? You can fill in noun in the blank. Every French noun has a gender. Sometimes the gender is given away by the noun's ending. There is a video on this channel which is called "How to Know if a French noun is masculine or feminine" or something like that. There's a dog on the thumbnail, and that is a video which I have created for you to learn the endings that give away the gender, masculine or feminine. It's a video that's set like a little game, and you can see the ending and take a guess whether it's masculine or feminine, count your points, and then you can comment your points in the comment section. And that's a way of learning the endings that give away the gender. Unfortunately, that is not the case for every single noun because it would be too good. So very often you have to learn it. But sometimes it gets even worse. Sometimes it gets extremely quirky. So number two, something quirkier. I have five words that are listed under number two right here. I don't know if you can read it. It's après-midi, enzyme, hymne, réglisse, and COVID. Can you guess? Type it in the chat, please. Guess what these words have in common. If they have a trait which is rare, a rare linguistic trait that not many words, so they're nouns, right? Not many French nouns have. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. Just gonna get a sip of my tea and just scream in the chat. It would be fun to do that on Zoom. We could scream it out. But tell me in the chat what you think these words have in common. So it's après-midi, enzyme, and most of them are actually transparent. So après-midi means afternoon. Literally, après is after, midi is noon, afternoon. Enzyme is like enzyme. Hymne, like hymn. You also have this word in English. COVID, you of course also have, and réglisse is licorice in English. I do not know if all of the meanings of réglisse can be translated as licorice. It's something we can speak about after you've taken guesses. So, anyone has an idea what they have in common? Nancy is saying they can be la ou le. Yes, good call. Absolutely. So these are words that can be masculine or feminine, and it hardly makes a difference. So for some of them, I actually didn't know it. I didn't know that enzyme could be both, or hymne as well. Après-midi is very famous for that because if you wish someone a good afternoon, you can either say bon après-midi and write it this way, or you can say bon après-midi and write it as a feminine, like because of course. Oh, sorry, I mean après-midi. No, right. Um, and mean it as either masculine or feminine. And of course, as we learn together, and you probably know by now, if a noun is feminine, then all the adjectives will become feminine. The adjectives that go with this noun will become feminine, and same vice versa. If the noun is masculine, then the adjectives will become masculine. But in the case of those nouns, you can actually choose which gender you want to use. For COVID, it has been very debated. I'm sure you heard the whole story that whether it's le or la COVID. It seems that le is winning. There's a lot of more people who say le than la in French, especially in French from France. In Canada, it seems to be the opposite. The French Academy has decided that it should be feminine, but the problem is that no one really listens to them. Like we don't actually care. The language keeps being what it is, and we don't know what they're doing. To be honest, we just sometimes get a note that oh you should do it this way. Yeah, that's so. Your call. As a speaker, you get to choose. There is one in this list, which is réglisse, which has a slight distinction in meaning, whether it's masculine or feminine. So le réglisse is a sweet. It's like, this black sweet that most people hate, but I love, which is called licorice in English. That's le réglisse, it's masculine. And the plant that this comes from, which I assume would be called licorice as well, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. That would be la réglisse. So it's like la plante, la réglisse, and then le bonbon, le réglisse. So you can remember it this way. So good job on this one. That was the first answer. They can be masculine or feminine. Now, even worse, let's see if you can find the third one. What unique features those three nouns, okay? Three nouns. It says two nouns, it should be three. Amour, délice, and orgue. Cynthia's saying licorice too. Okay, good. Good to know. So the plant and the sweet. Amour, délice, and orgue. And the answer, if you look closely at the worksheet, the answer is actually in here, but it can be difficult to spot because this is it's one of my favorite French quirks. Not many French people know that, and it's like if you love the French language, you're gonna have to love those kind of quirky things. So let's see. It's also a gender thing, but it's not exactly that they can be masculine or feminine because that was the set in the second question. So let's see. Who can take a guess as to what those three do? So the word are amour, and I wrote that it could be un amour or in plural de folles amours with an adjective. Délice, un délice or des délices divines. Et orgue, un orgue or les grandes orgues. Linda is saying it's masculine singular but feminine plural. Correct. So when you look at it, un amour, it clearly is masculine, right? Un amour. But de folles amours, folle with double L-E-S, that is completely feminine. That's a feminine adjective. So les amours, like, les amours de Tristan et Iseult, which is a famous medieval work of literature from France, that would be feminine. Same for délice and same for orgue. So orgue, if you have un orgue, which is a musical instrument like relatively small, that would be masculine. But if you have des grandes orgues, which is a musical instrument such as what you have in churches, that will be feminine if it's in plural. So good job, Linda, for finding this one. It's an extreme quirk. You can honestly tell your French friends. Did you know that you have in French three words that are masculine in plural and masculine in singular and feminine in plural? And depending on how educated they are about their own language, they might even tell you that you're mistaken. At which point you can show them that video or that worksheet and be like, "No, I'm right. This is it's quirky." So good job. Now we're getting into like the really really muddy waters. So point number 4 on this worksheet, I called it English words gone wrong. So we have a bunch of English words, un dressing, un smoking, un parking. I'm pronouncing them the French way, right? Un shampoing, un jogging, un footing, un pressing, un brushing. You need to tell me for every one of these words, take a guess what they need in French, what they mean in French. And I think that's going to be fun because the meaning is really different, like really different. Like you think dressing that has to do with like, sauce or salad dressing. No, it's not that. So Yep, just write the English word and the meaning you think it has next to it, and we'll see how many you can get right. Just try to like all participate, and so like we have more chances because it's random. There are a bunch of videos that are made, mostly humoristic videos about like why why the French guys take those words and make it mean something completely different. So what could be undressing? I'm just gonna wait here until some things come through. I still have my little sticker on my computer that says "speak slowly," but it's working less and less. I have to pay attention to that, but I'm almost not seeing it anymore. It's part of the furniture now. So Nancy is suggesting that dressing would be dressing room, which yes, correct. So dressing is like a walk-in closet, really, in French. So it's not really a room, but it's a small part of a room where you have a large, at least a floor to ceiling closet, and often a walk-in closet, and that's undressing. So good job. Then unsmoking. Any idea what that is? Walk-in closet, yeah. So what can possibly be unsmoking? Linda, you told me something about renting one. Cynthia is saying smoking is a dinner jacket. Yep, close enough. Close enough. So Doge Evo is saying a tuxedo. Yes, that's it. I think I know this one because I've been researching this. Yes, exactly. So unsmoking is a tuxedo. Oh, we have Laurie here. Hi, Laurie. Bonjour. So smoking is a tuxedo. Parking, Marilyn, yeah, you're almost right. So parking, it's not really parking, which is a verb in English. So it would be a parking lot. So in French, we thought, nah, we don't need the word lot. We just removed it. So parking, that's a parking lot. It's not a parking space. That would be. I mean, sometimes we could use the word parking, meaning a parking space, but really, parking is like this huge area where you have lots of space to park a car. So, yep. Oh, you were saying we use smoking in Dutch as tuxedo. So interesting. I don't know how your people and my people managed to get these same ideas, but we did. So good for us. I'll have to research the etymology at some point. So we have 3 done. Okay, so what about un shampoing? And I have a theory as to why this one is pronounced shampoing and all the others are pronounced with the ing at the end, because un shampoing, I think the word was borrowed early, like in the 60s or even before the 60s, and the French had it written but didn't know how to pronounce it because it was in a time when there was mostly written communication, not so much radio or TV was used, or you didn't have, like, for example, advertising so much when it was borrowed. And that is why I think we have made that into shampoing, not shampooing, which would be interesting. In English, a smoking jacket is a different thing. So what's a smoking jacket? I think I have to Google that. But anyway, un shampoing, I guess this one is quite easy. So you can easily guess it. So un shampoing is a shampoo. So often it will mean the actual product. You can have it in a bottle. That's un shampoing in French. It could also mean the activity of washing someone's hair. Particularly if you go to the hairdressers in French, you can say, "Oh, je voudrais un shampoing," and you want them to wash their hair, to wash your hair. Often, I mean, they will wash your hair anyway. If you just want a haircut, they probably will wash it too. But yeah, that's what un shampoing means. Okay, so and jogging, this could actually mean, wait, yeah, it could have 2 meanings, but it mostly has one, which is not the one that is close to English. So what could and jogging be? Anyone has an idea? What is and jogging? Nope, no idea. So and jogging is like a tracksuit bottom or tracksuit. Oh yeah, exactly, a kind of trousers. Yes. So we call it a tracksuit in English, I believe. The kind of trousers that you wear, and sometimes you can also have like the vest that goes with it. And that's the kind of thing you use to practice sports. So that's un jogging in French. Now we have un footing, jogging suit. Yep, that makes sense. Tracksuit, jogging suit, yes. So a smoking shirt is a jacket usually patterned, brocade with satin lapels and a satin tie at the waist, sort of a bathroom style. Men would wear it when they went to their smoking rooms for cigars. Fancy. I'll have to look that up on Google Image because that sounds fancy. I don't smoke, but maybe I can still get one. All right, so un footing. Who can take a guess about this one? No one has an idea? Un footing is basically a run, like, oh yeah, a jog. Jogging shoes? No, not shoes. It's just the actual activity of jogging or going for a run. How one stands on equal footing. No, that would make sense, but no, the French are just a football match. That could have been. No, un footing is just a run. So faire un footing, that's running. Yeah, football pitch. No, it's just a run. It's something, the activity you do with your feet. I don't know how we come up with that, honestly. Like, I have no idea. It's just what it means. Okay, un pressing. Any idea what un pressing is? If you have been to France, you might have seen places which has pressing written on them. So then you would probably know what that is. But if you haven't been to France, that's harder. So can you take a guess as to what un pressing is? And finally, we have Ambroshing. This one is, I hope, easier, but I'm not even sure. Processing, nope, that's not what it means. I think it's too close, to be honest. Like the pressing, I don't even know how they came up with this idea. I guess some of that profession involves pressing stuff together. I don't even know. Ironing of clothes, close enough. We're on the right track. So Laurie's saying ironing of clothes. Nancy's suggesting laundry. You're almost there, almost there. Dry cleaners. Yes, exactly. Good job. 1 point for Nancy. Dry cleaners, that's the right one. So yep, it's typically a business, dry cleaning business. That's un pressing. Okay, last one, Ambroshing. It was actually really useful for me to learn the English words that correspond to this because the French speakers will tend to think they know those words in English and use those words, which are actually, French words that are been distorted out of English, and then they'll get it wrong, of course, when they try to speak English, and then you have to try to piece it together. So yep, 1 point for Cynthia. Brushing is a blow dry, so good job. Yes, a blow dry is brushing. All right, so we've made sense of all of these freaking English but really French words. So good job. Now, I think the worst part, the part that makes me the most frustrated, is the lost in translation situations. So those are words, like not all those words. I mean, I have written full sentences or full phrases, and there are in each of these phrases one or several words that have no equivalent in French. And it frustrates me extremely when I have to translate those because I'm like, I'll have to find a way around, which is what I'm about to do, because of course I will try to tell you what you can do if you want to express these meanings in French, even though you don't have words. So you could try to underline on your worksheets the ones that you think have no equivalent, or please just write in the chat, write just the word that you think has no equivalent in French. So any of the words that you think have no equivalent in French in these sentences. The first sentence is, my goal is to empower you to become fluent speakers. My goal is to empower you to become fluent speakers. There are two words in this sentence that has no direct translation. Then we have the expression French fluency, which is my Instagram handle, my Twitter handle, and also the name of my website, frenchfluency.net. But it is an expression that has no equivalent in French because one of these words does not have an equivalent. So please write it if you know which one it is. And then you have my sibling is very successful. I'm not going to tell you how many there are in this one that go wrong. Otherwise, it's too obvious. Then the second to last one is I can't stand her. I can't stand her. She's so entitled. And finally, the word queer was reclaimed. Okay, so Nancy is suggesting my goal. No, that's one of the words in this text that actually has a translation. I would say mon but. Mon but, that's my goal in French. So we do have a word that covers this quite closely. So the beginning of the first sentence I could translate as mon but, and then it's harder. Okay, so Linda, I think you heard me say that before, but yes, empower does not have an equivalent in French. Neither does empowered or empowering. I have learned, or yeah, the empowering of someone. I have heard people say empouvoirment. So I'll just write it, like un. It would be masculine because it ends in ment. Empouvoirment. Something like that. But of course, Google is giving me a little red line under it because it's not a real word. It's just some people, for example, it's often a word that is used by feminists, and feminists in French have read a lot of English feminism and have realized that this word does not exist in French. And they're like, okay, what do we do? And yes, it's a real problem. Laurie, yes, you're right. So my goal could translate as mon objectif or mon but. Like sometimes you have several translations as well. So empower is extremely difficult to translate. We have encourager, which would be more like encourage. We have inspirer, which would be more like inspire. And those are the kind of words that I would use to try and translate empower. There is not really a translation that is satisfying. I'm wondering if they will find a way to actually maybe borrow the word. In English, in French, it's easy to borrow a noun from English, but it's a lot harder to borrow a verb because you would have to find a way that it works with the French conjugation. So, for example, we borrowed the verb to scan and we made that into scanner. But empowerer, that sounds very bizarre. So I don't know what will happen. At some point, they'll find a way because language always finds a way to express what they want to express. But at this point, right now, habilité is, yeah, it's an interesting idea. We don't use this word so much. So good job to you on knowing this really complex word. It's really a technical word. We'll use it really in technical situations. For example, you could say like that a court is habilité à faire quelque chose, or like a person, but it's more like the person is allowed to do that, or authorized to do that, or competent to do something. It's not really about empowering. So yep, still wondering about this one. So that was good. Can you find other words that have no equivalent in French in this text? We got another 2 on the first line, and they're related. And I mean, of course, you can throw, like, if you think you found one in the future sentences, just go ahead and throw them to me. I don't have to explain them in order. In details, yes, but not in order. So who has an idea? Marion is suggesting fluent. Yes, so fluent it's a word that you can translate in some situations and in others not. And particularly, I can't say fluent speaker. I would have to twist the sentence in a different order to be able to translate it. And the same is true for fluency. I mean, French fluency, the best way that I can translate that would be français courant, which would translate as fluent French. So if you want to say I speak fluent French, you can say je parle un français courant, or je parle français couramment, which would be fluently. So we have fluently, that would be couramment, and we have courant, and let me just write it so you can learn it. Couramment. And those words work, but if you want to say I am a fluent speaker, you're stuck. What you could say is je suis un locuteur, that would be a speaker. Or of course, if you're a woman, that would be une locutrice. And then compétent, or compétente as a woman. It's probably as good as it gets, but of course, competent speaker is not exactly the same as fluent speaker. So it bugs me every week, almost every day, that I don't have an equivalent in French to these words that are really central in my profession, but that's how it is. So yes, and then Ivo is suggesting successful. Yes, so in a sentence, my sibling is very successful. One of the words that we can't translate is successful. That bugs me extremely. And it bugs other French speakers to the point that they have started using the word successful, borrowed from English, into French. So it's not infrequent for me to hear, for example, in a French podcast, a French influencer that says, "Oh, cette personne est très successful." Ou je sais pas moi, Jeff Bezos est très successful. C'est un peu bizarre. It's a bit weird that we do that, but we really don't have a word for it. You can say that someone a réussi, which means has succeeded, like, il a réussi, as he has succeeded. We can say il a du succès, he has some successes, or he has some success. That would be as close as it gets to he is successful. Of course, if it's a woman, elle a du succès, works in both ways. It's not an adjective, you don't have to adjust it. It's you have some success. But yeah, that's as good as it gets for successful. However, in this sentence, my sibling is very successful. There is another word that is not translatable. So Laura is saying a été récupéré. So I believe this would be the translation for reclaimed. It is honestly close enough. I just don't think we say le mot a été récupéré, or it will really be in a longer sentence, with a lot more explanations as to explain what it means. It's probably honestly as good as it gets, but reclaim or even just claim is a complicated word to translate. So good job on spotting it. We do have so in the sentence, the word queer was reclaimed. There's also queer, which is not translatable, but there are more and more actually queer people who use the word queer in French. So it's not weird if you're a queer person to say je suis queer in French, and people will mostly understand it, especially if they are also queer. We have two more words to find in the second sentence. So in the second line, the second line. So the sentences we have is my sibling is very successful and I can't stand her, she's so entitled. So can you spot the last two? What about stand in this context? So I can't stand is an expression. I was actually thinking about it when I was writing the sentence. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to get away without explaining this one. But yes, I can't stand. It's an expression, but you can say in French, je ne peux pas la supporter, and that's going to mean the exact same. And I can't bear her. So because supporter is also a false friend, so to support is soutenir in French. Supporter means to stand someone, to bear with someone. Okay, so Ivo has the next one, which is sibling. Also something that bugs me, especially as I have a sibling who unfortunately passed away, and I am not sure exactly of what their gender was because we just don't have precise indication about what they would have wanted to identify as their gender. We have kind of like muddy information, and that was a long time ago. So it was a time when these kind of things were not completely discussed. And I'm not sure how to refer to my sibling in French anymore because of that. So yeah, Ivo, you're correct. So sibling is going to be frère ou sœur. So le frère ou la sœur. And siblings in plural is going to be les frères et sœurs. So if I want to ask someone in French, do you have any siblings? That would be tu as des frères et sœurs. We cannot get away with one word. This word just does not exist. It's either frère or sœur. If you have a sibling who's gender neutral or who's non-binary, can't help you. And I have one myself, so we're in the same boat. But yeah, same for a nibbling, by the way. It's going to be neveu or nièce. And if you have a nibbling that does not identify as male or female, I don't know. I hope that in the future, speakers will find a way to solve this problem, and then there will be just a sort of a consensus. It's like neopronouns in French. There are lots of neopronouns that are starting to exist here and there, but most people do not understand them and will even correct you. when because French speakers love to correct each other, and if you're a non-native, it's going to be even worse. So yeah, it's an area that's in motion. Right, and there's one last word that needs still to be found in the sentence. I can't stand her. She's so entitled. There's one word which I have no idea how to translate in French. I mean, I have an idea, but not with one word. So Linda is suggesting untitled. Yes, absolutely. So untitled it's a weird word because when you think about it in English, it already originally had a very standard meaning. Entitlé, so he was suggesting. Yeah, no, we can't say entitlé. That would be funny if some people would start taking this word and make it into entitlé. And I thought, why not? It sounds okay, but yeah, so far no. So Rory is suggesting elle a tellement droit. And that's not how I would say it. However, you're pointing to something important about this word. Because in English, originally, untitled is something very neutral. If, for example, if you are a veteran, you are entitled to some benefits, right? It's a very neutral sentence to say that you have a right to something. So in French, that would be vous avez le droit à quelque chose. So avoir droit à quelque chose. But in the sentence, I can't stand her, she's so entitled, the whole idea is practically the opposite, that basically she is trying to claim or to get things that she doesn't have a right to, that she is, overstepping her bounds, basically. And if you say elle a tellement droit, that would mean that you believe the opposite, that believe that if I say, oh, ils ont tellement le droit de faire ça, like it's their birthright, that would be the meaning of that sentence. I can imagine that some people would say that in French, which would be slangish, kind of street French, if they would say something this way. But yeah, it means that you agree with the person, which would be basically the opposite. Yes, so you mean like this, vous avez le droit. Yes, vous avez le droit, but that would be in untitled in the original meaning, not in the meaning that the people are entitled, as in they think they have a right to something, but they really don't. And that I really don't know how to translate it with one word. The best way that I have found would be elle se croit tout permis. So she thinks that everything is allowed to her. Elle se croit tout permis. Or elle, wait, I had another one. It's gone from my head right now. Oh, yeah. So, tout lui est dû. This is something that my parents used to say a lot when I was young and they wanted to complain about the young generation. Not me in particular, just the young generation in general. Because, if you're getting older, you're going to have, maybe not everyone, but many people, when they get older, they have a tendency to criticize the younger generation and think that the younger generation just does not know how to live. And so tout lui est dû, tout leur est dû, that would mean, yeah, they're so entitled. Like they expect they expect a lot of hand-me-downs. And yeah, that's basically what it means. But as you can see, it takes a bunch of words to even translate just the idea of someone who's entitled in the newer sense of the word. So congratulations, you made it through the entirety of this worksheet. Please let me know how that was. Then tell me if you like this kind of lesson. I would not naturally make more of these because I try to really teach the things that are the most useful to you. And clearly, like this is just like a little, play because we're having the birthday party. Or, by the way, anniversary and birthday is the same word in French, anniversaire, and therefore I don't actually really know how to translate it every time. Like, I like to think of my program as the French Fluency Accelerator as having been born 2 years ago, but perhaps anniversary is a better word in English. Anyway, in French, it's going to be l'anniversaire either way. So yeah, because the anniversary is next week, I thought we would have something quite playful to just, celebrate. It's the end of August. It's, the end of the summer. I'm sorry for those of you who feel like they would like the summer to last forever. A couple of people have told me that recently, like, oh my God, don't tell that. Yeah, sorry, it's the calendar. I'm not making it up. But yeah, tell me if that was easy for you, if that was interesting, if you liked it, if you would like me to uncover more quirky French things and bring them to you just as an entertainment, as opposed to, I won't be doing only that because I don't think it's useful to do only that. But, maybe once in a while, if you like it, just let me know and I can find some more. And Nancy's saying she liked it. Okay, cool. Yep. Please, everyone listening, just let me tell me if you liked it or if you would rather have only the stuff that's fundamental. Cynthia says she enjoyed it, and Linda is saying fun now every now and then. Okay, cool. Well, I'll throw that in like every couple of months, a fun version. Right. Eve was saying it's very interesting. Cool. Was it too hard? Or, I mean, I guess it doesn't really, does it matter if it's hard or easy for these kind of things? Roy found it interesting. Okay, good. I'm happy it's interesting for you. Cool. I'll keep doing it. All right. So it's time for the idiom of the week, which we love having the idiom of the week. And today's idiom is appeler un chat un chat. It's not a typo. They will really have un chat in the French expression. So literally it will be to call a cat, which in English you would say as to call things by their names, or as Linda recently informed me, you can say in English to call a spade, which I didn't know. So close enough in the expression. But yeah, it means that you must not hide what you're talking about. You must not be using too many euphemisms. You must be calling a cat, a cat. Il faut appeler un chat, un chat. Did you know this expression before, or is it new to you? And yeah, I'll leave a little bit of time for any question you have if you want to ask a question now, and then we'll get into the French summary, which is going to be fun to give the French summary, especially with the words that are in English all the way through at the end. It's going to be some gymnastic for me. Okay, so Nancy is new. Linda is new to her as well. All right, well, I'm glad you could learn this expression. It's very useful. I mean, if you go to France, Laura's heard it before. Cool. If you go to France, you can use it. Like if people are clearly trying to drown the fish. That's another French expression. Noyer le poisson. Be honest. Yeah, that's what it means. Noyer le poisson. Like maybe I'll put this one as an idiom of the week sometime later. But noyer le poisson, it is literally to drown the fish. It means not calling things. It's the opposite of appeler un chat un chat. It's just trying to manipulate people by using weird words or doing weird things just so they get confused and they don't understand what's going on. So that's the opposite. So il faut pas noyer le poisson, il faut appeler un chat un chat. Right. Are you ready for the French summary? I'm going to get some water because I need to be on point. I will try to speak slowly. I'll do my best. So, ready? OK. Le résumé français, le résumé en français. Donc aujourd'hui, c'est un petit peu spécial parce que on a les 5 faits choquants de la langue française que vous allez vouloir savoir. Non pas parce qu'ils sont utiles pour parler français, mais parce qu'ils sont utiles pour dire à vos amis français que vous savez des choses sur leur langue que eux-mêmes ne savent pas. Et donc la première chose sur la liste, le numéro 1, et ça on en a déjà parlé avant, mais je voulais mettre un petit rappel pour qu'on soit bien sûr qu'on comprend de quoi on parle. Un truc qui est un peu bizarre en français, c'est les genres grammaticaux. Parce qu'en français, tous les noms sont masculins ou féminins. Donc, par exemple, la bouteille, c'est féminin. La tasse, c'est aussi féminin. Le bracelet, c'est masculin. D'accord? Donc, tous les noms, chaque nom a un genre masculin ou féminin. Et parfois, la fin du mot vous permet de savoir quel est le genre. Et par exemple, le bracelet, ça termine en est, et on sait parce que ça termine en est que c'est masculin. La tasse, ça termine en as, et on sait parce que ça termine en as que c'est féminin. D'ailleurs, sur cette chaîne, il y a une vidéo qui s'appelle quelque chose comme How to know if a French noun is masculine or feminine. Et cette vidéo vous permet d'apprendre les fins de mots qui vont vous donner la clé du genre. Malheureusement, ça ne marche pas pour tous les mots. Je crois que dans cette vidéo, il y a à peu près 39 fins de mots et ça correspond à 13 000 noms. C'est beaucoup, mais ce n'est pas tous les noms qui existent en français. Il y a beaucoup de noms où on ne sait pas. On ne sait tout simplement pas si, par exemple, la montre, ça finit par E, mais il y a plein de mots masculins et féminins qui finissent par E. On ne peut pas savoir. Donc souvent, il faut les apprendre. On n'a pas trop le choix. Et parfois, ça devient encore plus bizarre. Donc, on avait le numéro 2 et je vous avais demandé quelle était la caractéristique bizarre qu'il y avait dans ces 5 mots. Donc, les mots, c'était après-midi, enzyme, hymne, réglisse et Covid. Et vous aviez deviné très justement que ce sont des mots qui peuvent être masculins ou féminins et on peut choisir. Donc par exemple, un après-midi ou une après-midi, un enzyme ou une enzyme, un hymne ou une hymne, le Covid ou la Covid et enfin le réglisse ou la réglisse. Celui-là, il est un peu spécial parce que le réglisse masculin, c'est un bonbon et la réglisse féminin, ça, c'est une plante. C'est la plante qu'on utilise. La réglisse, c'est la plante qu'on utilise pour faire le réglisse. Donc ça, c'était le numéro 2. Il n'y en a pas beaucoup des mots en français comme ça où on peut choisir le genre, mais il y a ceux-là, vous pouvez choisir de les rendre masculins ou féminins. Numéro 3, encore plus bizarre, on avait 3 noms, amour, délice et orgue. Et ces noms-là, je vous avais demandé qu'est-ce qu'ils ont en commun. J'ai donné des exemples entre parenthèses pour vous aider à trouver. Et ce qu'ils ont en commun, c'est qu'ils sont masculins au singulier. On dit un amour, un délice, un orgue, mais ils sont féminins au pluriel. Donc on dit de folles amours, des délices divines et les grandes orgues. Donc ça, c'est ces 3 seuls mots qui sont comme ça en français. Si vous avez des amis français, vous pouvez leur demander s'ils savent ce que ces mots ont en commun et je pense que la plupart des Français ne le savent pas. Si ce sont des gens qui aiment beaucoup la langue française, ils le sauront probablement. Enfin, dans les points 4 et 5, on avait parlé des mots d'anglais qui sont soit pas traduits, soit dont la traduction est un peu approximative. Donc, on avait dans la partie 4 les mots d'anglais qui ont été empruntés par les Français et qui n'ont pas été adaptés, enfin, dont le sens a complètement changé entre l'anglais et le français. Par exemple, un dressing, c'est pas une sauce de salade. Un dressing, c'est une espèce de grand placard où on range ses vêtements. Donc, c'est pas du tout la même chose qu'en anglais. Un smoking, ça a rien à voir avec le fait de fumer. Un smoking, c'est une sorte de costume qu'on porte souvent avec un nœud papillon. Un nœud papillon. Un parking, alors ça, c'est assez proche quand même, mais un parking, c'est ce qu'on appelle en anglais parking lot, c'est-à-dire que c'est un grand espace où on peut ranger beaucoup de voitures. Ça, c'est un parking. Un shampoing, c'est ce qu'on appelle en anglais shampoo, donc c'est un produit qu'on utilise pour se laver les cheveux, ou alors c'est l'action de se laver les cheveux ou de laver les cheveux de quelqu'un d'autre, faire un shampoing à quelqu'un. Ensuite, on a un jogging. Un jogging, c'est une sorte de vêtement que l'on porte souvent pour faire du sport. Un footing, c'est une sorte de petite course qu'on fait souvent le matin. En général, c'est pas très long, c'est juste pour la santé. Ça, c'est un footing. Un pressing, ça, vous aviez eu du mal à le deviner et je suis d'accord que c'est très bizarre, mais c'est effectivement un endroit où on peut apporter ses vêtements pour qu'ils soient nettoyés à sec. Donc en français, on dit le nettoyage à sec, ça c'est l'activité, mais l'endroit où on pratique le nettoyage à sec, c'est pas un nettoyeur à sec, ça devrait, mais je ne sais pas pourquoi, c'est pas comme ça. C'est un pressing. Donc très bien. Et enfin, un brushing. Un brushing, c'est une action de brosser ses cheveux quand ils ont été lavés et quand on a un sèche-cheveux. Alors, on peut voir que j'y connais rien. J'ai pas eu de brushing depuis. Je crois que j'en ai eu un une fois et c'était une femme qui me l'avait fait pour rigoler. Mais un brushing, donc c'est ce qu'on appelle en anglais blow dry, donc l'action de laver, de brosser et sécher les cheveux en même temps, qui permet aux cheveux d'être très jolis. Ça, c'était le point 4. Enfin, dans le point 5, la partie qui va être la plus difficile pour moi à résumer en français, que j'ai appelée lost in translation, donc perdu dans la traduction, perdu au cours de la traduction. Et on devait trouver les mots qui n'avaient pas d'équivalent en français. Donc, on a des phrases en anglais, 5 phrases, et on doit trouver les mots qui n'ont pas d'équivalent en français. Donc, la première phrase, c'est My goal is to empower you to become fluent speakers. Et dans cette phrase, il y a 2 mots qui sont très difficiles à traduire en français. Le premier, c'est empower et le deuxième, c'est fluent. Alors, pour empower, on a des mots, on n'a pas vraiment pas de mots qui donnent l'idée de donner du pouvoir à quelqu'un. Mais on a des mots comme encourager ou inciter ou inspirer. Et ça, c'est des mots qu'on va utiliser en français si on veut essayer d'exprimer cette idée, parce qu'on n'a pas vraiment l'idée de empower. Mais on peut quand même utiliser ces mots-là. Encourager, inciter, inspirer. Le mot suivant qui est très désagréable pour moi, c'est fluent ou fluency. Ça, on ne peut pas vraiment le traduire en français. On a le mot courant qui voudrait dire littéralement running, mais parler couramment, ça veut dire speak fluently. Donc on peut parler couramment, on peut parler un français courant, mais on ne peut pas être un locuteur courant. Ça n'existe pas. On peut être peut-être un locuteur compétent, mais c'est tout. Donc voilà, c'est très désagréable pour moi de ne pas avoir ce mot en français, mais on l'a pas, donc on fait avec, on trouve d'autres mots. Ensuite, dans la phrase suivante, My sibling is very successful, il y avait 2 mots qui n'existent pas en français. C'est en premier le mot sibling. Donc si on veut dire a sibling, il faut dire un frère ou une sœur. On ne peut pas avoir, le genre neutre, soit des frères, soit des sœurs. Et si on veut demander à quelqu'un, s'il a des frères ou des sœurs, on va dire, voilà: «Est-ce que tu as des frères et sœurs?» Pas: «Est-ce que tu as des siblings?» parce qu'on n'a pas ce mot-là. Et un mot très désagréable aussi qu'on n'a pas de traduction en français, c'est successful. Successful, c'est tellement dur à dire en français qu'il y a beaucoup de gens, qui quand ils veulent dire successful, ils prennent le mot anglais. Ils vont dire: «Oh, cet entrepreneur est très successful», particulièrement si on parle de quelqu'un aux États-Unis ou en Angleterre, parce qu'on n'a pas ce mot tout simplement, on n'a pas l'idée. On peut dire qu'une personne a du succès ou qu'une personne a réussi. En français, c'est un petit peu culturel quand on y pense. On Le succès, c'est quelque chose qu'on a, c'est pas quelque chose qu'on est. So, on peut avoir du succès, mais on peut pas être successful, en tout cas pas en français. Donc c'est intéressant au niveau de l'état d'esprit des Français. Ensuite, dans la phrase suivante, I can't stand her, she's so entitled, on a le mot entitled qui est très difficile à traduire en français, encore une fois, parce qu'à l'origine, le mot entitled en anglais, c'était un mot qui avait un sens neutre, qui voulait dire tout simplement que vous avez droit à quelque chose. Like, if you're entitled to a benefit, en anglais, ça veut dire que vous avez le droit à un privilège, vous avez le droit à je sais pas moi, un paiement, par exemple. Mais de nos jours, untitled, ça veut dire que les gens se croient tout permis ou qu'ils pensent que tout leur est dû. Et ça, c'est très difficile à dire en français. On ne peut pas le dire avec un seul mot. On doit dire qu'ils se croient tout permis ou ils croient que tout leur est dû. Enfin, dans la dernière phrase, on avait le mot The word queer was reclaimed. Et l'une d'entre vous a suggéré dans le chat d'utiliser le mot récupérer. Je crois que c'était récupérer. Donc, le mot queer a été récupéré. Ça marche à peu près en général quand on utilise le mot récupérer, a un petit peu un sens négatif. Par exemple, on parle d'une récupération politique. S'il y a des attentats qui ont lieu quelque part, on peut dire qu'il y a une récupération politique des attentats. C'est pas une bonne chose. Mais je pense que dans un contexte, on pourrait expliquer ça avec ce mot, que les gens, le mot queer en général était une insulte et que maintenant il a été utilisé par les personnes queer pour s'identifier et pour avoir une sorte de fierté par rapport au mot. Mais tout ça, c'est des choses qui sont très difficiles à traduire en français. On n'a pas beaucoup de textes qui sont écrits sur ce sujet. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de discussions autour de ces sujets. Donc souvent, la raison pour laquelle les mots n'existent pas, c'est parce que culturellement, on n'a pas vraiment de discussion sur les sujets dont ils parlent. Vous comprenez? Donc c'est pour ça que ça devient difficile d'avoir des mots et que ça peut être très difficile de traduire. Souvent pour les traducteurs dont le travail, c'est d'apporter des idées d'une autre langue vers le français et la français est là: «Ah, je ne sais pas si on peut exprimer cette idée». Donc voilà, ça c'était la partie 5. Et enfin, on avait l'expression de la semaine qui était appeler un chat un chat. Donc appeler un chat, ça veut dire ne pas tourner autour du pot. Tiens, ça aussi, c'est une expression de la semaine. Tourner autour du pot, ça veut dire ne pas dire la vérité, ne pas dire la chose, juste essayer d'utiliser des euphémismes pour parler. Et on ne veut pas tourner autour du pot, on ne veut pas noyer le poisson, il faut appeler un chat, il faut être honnête, il faut dire les choses honnêtement. Donc voilà, ça c'était le résumé en français. That was it for the French summary. I think I was quite fast. I hope you understood most of what I said. I was kind of afraid of maybe being too long. Towards the end, I said something that I wasn't. So please tell me how that went for you in French, if you got most of it. And yeah, towards the end, I said something that I hadn't said in English, which is the idea that often if you don't have a word, it's because there isn't so much of a cultural discussion about the topic. And a lot of words that are used nowadays as identification labels, for example, by the queer community, they don't exist yet because they simply haven't made it through into the French culture or into the discussion in the French language. There's always a bit of like a lag time between when something happens in the US and when something happens in Europe, in the European languages. It's something that people do speak about quite often. Sometimes we joke about it. We joke that there is like 10 to 20 years of lag. And often it's not a good thing. For example, in 2001 in the US, there was the World Trade Center attacks, which is, terror attack by some Islamist terrorists. And in Vienna last year, we had a terror attack by an Islamist terrorist, and it's exactly 20 years. And it's not really enjoyable that we are actually starting now, between 15 and 20 years after the 2001 attacks, we're starting to have terrorist attacks in Europe as well. But it is generally true that when there is some significant phenomenon in the US or in North America, that same phenomenon will end up happening in Europe with a delay of 10 to 20 years, depending. And I think for things like, labels like the word queer, or another one which I didn't put in there is the word gender fluid. That annoys me to no end because it's my gender and I don't even have a word to say it in French. That would be une personne de genre fluide. I need to use 3 words to translate it, and then I have to explain to people what that means. It's the same if you say gender fluid in English. People are gonna ask, most of the time I just don't speak about it because it's annoying to keep explaining it. But it's even more annoying if you don't have a word because it sounds like, wait, like you picked that from another country or something. So yeah, let me go through the comment. There seems to be any chance we could have the captions either in French or English with a summary. Mine were unavailable. Good question. I don't know if you can caption a live video. That's something I'll have to research. At some point, yes. At some point, I'm sure YouTube will create those captions. But yeah, I'll see if I can do something. But most of the time, it's not something I can change on my side. Okay, so hi, Tony. Nice to see you. I arrived late just in time for the summary. For empower, it looks like faire se faire. And the summary was perfect for me, got most of it. Oh, cool. I'm glad you got it. I'm not sure what you means with like faire se faire. Can you explain it or ask another question? So Laurie was saying it was a bit too fast. Okay, you know that if you watch a video, you can slow it down. Sometimes it distorts the sound. It might not be great, but you could perhaps watch the replay and slow it down and see if it works better for you. We still have to watch the video though later. You're welcome to watch it. If you have any questions, the comment section is here for you. Ivo is asking, okay, we start the meetings in Zoom on the 5th of September. So the first Sunday of September, and that would be at 5 p.m. your time and my time, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when we'll start the group coaching. Don't worry, we'll send you everything per email since you're going to be in the scholarship program. And by the way, about the scholarship program, you still have like 2 or 3 days to apply. So if you want a scholarship, you really need to apply now. Otherwise, if you're watching this in the distant future, you can apply later and we will consider you for the January intake. But if you want a chance to get a scholarship now and start in September, you have to apply now. Like this is like the last time I'm interviewing the last people this week. If you can still sneak yourself in good. But otherwise, yeah, you'll be considered for January. And if you want to join the French Fluency Accelerator because you have some resources and you want to sponsor a scholarship student, you can always join. The price is low now. It will increase on the 1st of September. I think it will be $997 or something like that, and currently $697. So you can use the link either in the description or on your worksheet, and you can join now and you will get access to everything. You'll also be invited to the group coaching. I will tell you more about the French Fluency Accelerator next week because that's going to be the last session that we will have before the actual start of the accelerator year. But you can already join if you want to. Reminder that next week we will have a meeting on Zoom. So remember to open your emails or be on my Telegram channel to have the Zoom link before the meeting and to have the workbook. I think the workbook is going to be like 8 to 10 pages. So it's going to be like a lot more than the usual worksheet because I really look forward to celebrating the French Accelerator together and having a really good time. And it's going to be a good opportunity to be on Zoom together. I'll be able to see your faces and you'll be able to ask questions and comment in real time, like with your voice. I mean, not all the time because I will have to mute you if you are a lot of people. You can all speak at the same time. But basically, I plan on doing the presentation and you'll have the chat just like here. And at the end, I can unmute everybody and we can just all have a chat together. That's going to be super cool. So what do we have here? Empower meaning enable someone to do something so that je voudrais vous faire couper les cheveux. Je voudrais vous faire couper les cheveux. Yeah. No, it's not the same. I mean, faire is to make somebody do something, which is empower is to allow, like give those people the resources to do what they want to do. Faire is practically coercing someone into doing something. or doing it because it's their, like, having them do it because it's their job. So no, well, it's not very close. Okay, au revoir, Cynthia. Thanks for coming. And yep, basically we are we are on time. So if you have another question, please sneak it in really rapidly. I'm gonna sign off in a couple of minutes. And please remember to mark your calendars next Sunday, because you're not gonna get a message from YouTube or anything. You're gonna get an email from me, sent by Linda, but written by me probably. Like on for Friday about it, I had a lot of emails that I wanted to write, and I didn't really have the time and energy to put into making those more emails. I'll see what will happen. But I can tell you, in all cases, we will have our birthday party or anniversary party for the French Accelerator, because it's been 2 years. I wanted to do it last year already, and I didn't really manage. But this time, like, it's coming. I have my slides almost ready, and I'll really look forward to seeing you next week and seeing all your faces and being able to have a chat with you. So if you're not on my Telegram channel yet, please make sure you follow my Telegram channel so you get all the information in real time. And if you are not on my email list, let me show you last thing before I run. If you do not have your French Fluency Starter Kit, please get it now. I mean, get it. It's for you, huh? But it's free, okay? So there's vocabulary magic, there's the fluency worksheet that I always talk about, and there's the ultimate guide to learning French with apps. There's also another PDF, which is YouTube channel, 25 legit YouTube channel, I think the title is. And you can get all of these for free with the link in the description below. And then when you do that, I will send you all of my emails automatically to get also the worksheets in your email. So there are two channels to get it. It's in emails or in Telegram. Last but not least, I completely forgot to tell you about it last time. So if you're still listening right now, I'm starting a podcast, and there is one episode that's available already. It's called Cultural Fluency. The first episode is on this channel. It's with Jackie McGinn, which is my hypnotherapist, who is my hypnotherapist, which I've told you about her many times. She's wonderful. So you can listen to a complete conversation between me and her. And the next episode will come out also this week, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. And it's with Marlon Altman, who's my astrology teacher, and she's a really amazing person. So I look forward to putting that out. And yeah, so if you love podcasts, you want to subscribe to Cultural Fluency, it is already available on a bunch of platforms like Google Podcasts and a bunch. I don't think it's available on Apple Podcasts yet. I'm going to have to go and pester them so they make it available, because it should be available by now. But it's on a bunch of platforms, and it's on YouTube, so you can listen to that as well. And I look forward to having more amazing people on that. Okay, enough rambling. It's over an hour already. So thank you guys for being here with me until the end. And I will see you next week on Zoom for the anniversary party. All right, have a great week. Bonne semaine.